Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down 3 industry articles to just bring some reality to the industry. All right. At the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff out there that we find ourselves in. There's a lot of information that's out there, but what do you all do with it? You know, it's easy to put an article out there and provide zero substance on how somebody could actually apply this to their business. And frankly, I get it. They're going to say it's not their job, and they're right. It's not their job, but people read these and make decisions based on their business off of that. So that's what we do. We just bring some reality for you guys every single weekday. As you guys can see, I got my friend Adrian here. Adrian's with VHub. He's going to break down some articles with me today. So Adrian, what's up, man? Thank you for joining me.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
No, man, I appreciate you jumping on. Adrian is a behind the scenes guy. I took a lot of convincing to get him to actually come on the show today. So what's good, man? Like how'd you get your start at VHub? And like, have you been in the industry for a long time? Give people a little bit of a background for you.
Super. So my name is Adrian. I'm the director of customer experience at VHub. I have about 10 plus years of transport, not necessarily transport, but let's call it more rental and leasing experience with different companies. I started off way at the bottom and moved my way up through the industry, learning about maintenance, the leasing, the rental aspect of everything, asset management aspect. Mm-hmm. And with time, I moved back into financing of trucks and trailers, and then came up with VHub, where we designed the platform. Basically, I was there from day one, designing it from ground up, making sure that it is usable at all levels, from left to right, top to bottom, from CEOs across over to owner operators, to making sure that it is a platform that is easy to use in the industry for sharing your equipment.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Nick Rumer, good morning, brother. Dude, Nick, I got to get you on the show here soon, man. Vitaly, yes, sir. Vitaly's a Canadian as well, man. He's up there in the GTA. Stephen Mason, good morning. So, dude, I want to talk. I want to bring up the stuff that you have right now. So, like, walk me through an experience, because, like, obviously, I talk about the repositionings are available, the assets that are available for people to get on there and use. But, like, if I was a driver, how would I? And I wanted to do this, you know, like, I had the like, do I just go in to the facility in Clearfield, Utah, and grab this trailer and then load it out with product that I need, and then drive it up into Winnipeg? Like, kind of walk me through what would that experience be like if I was a driver?
Okay, so you explain that's the very basic, simple version of it. Yeah. There are a few steps that need to be done before. So you can go on our website, vhubapp.com, go into the marketplace in the search function, and kind of see what's out there. Let's say, as an example, this is one that fits your application. You're heading in that direction. You can get paid for this load. Sorry, not this load, this trailer. So this trailer needs to be repositioned from Utah back up to Manitoba, and the owner is willing to pay the carrier to move it. You are able to use that trailer and then load it with whatever freight that you may pick up. So you're getting money for the move, and you're getting money for your load that you have. The steps that need to be done before visiting vhubapp.com, do the registration application, and we are available if you have any questions through that process via chat, or you can simply call us and we'll help you through that process. Simple process. Log on, become a renter, and follow the steps to the reservation. Mm-hmm. And everything leads you directly to the location. Instructions to do the start at the application, which we have a mobile app. And we go through a few steps in the mobile app to make sure you're picking up the correct trailer, making sure that you're declaring any damages that you may have seen on the trailer to eliminate any responsibilities of scratch or dents once you drop it off.
Yeah, so I mean, it's essentially just like a rental car. Like, every time you go out there and get a rental car, you walk the car, you make sure there's no dents, you make sure there's no damages to it pre-existing. If there are, you note them and have them on there so you're not billed for that in the event that happens. And, you know, again, you guys, the best part is you get paid money to do this, you know, and this is just another way for you to make revenue in any market, though. Like right now, especially, like this is going to help offset fuel. This is going to help offset your truck payment for a month. Hell, one of those loads, that might help offset your truck payment for the month or your trailer payments for the month, whatever that looks like. So they have them over in Paragould, Arkansas, looking to go to Delta, BC, just outside of Vancouver, as well as Glade Spring, Virginia. And then the stateside ones, you guys, San Diego going up to Spokane, Washington, and then San Diego going over to Irving, Texas. And again, you get paid $550 to do that one. You make that additional money that's out there. And then, yeah, let me see here. Nick Rimmer, starting from the bottom, working way up. Best leaders in the industry. That's right, man. Cody Miller, good morning. You're right. Let's fucking go. Chris, yeah, AB5 is, I don't know when it's going to start affecting freight. I think that it's going to be a issue that is going to tell a very in-depth story here in the next coming weeks, because like the 7-day thing, I don't know if they're able to file an extension to reclassify or anything like that. It's going to be interesting to see if there's any injunctions that can be filed. I know that legally that they're going to try something to do this, but yeah, it's I'm not a fan of it at all. That's all I can say. Whether the output, what the fallout, what it's going to look like, I can't accurately say, but I know it's not going to be good in just based off of that. Sonny Sharma, good morning. Orange Shirt Gang in the house. Erica, good morning to you. Steven Peterson, good morning, brother. Good to see you again. And then, yeah, man, as always, I know Adrian doesn't always pay attention to the show when I go on, but we're up to day 63 of the Freight Coach tally of there being a truck parking issue as well as a facilities issue for drivers in the industry. And when I say facilities issues, there's some places out there that, man, they don't even allow drivers to use restrooms. And I get like the company policies and stuff that can come of this, but I feel like if that's a company policy that you do have, let your drivers drop their trailers so then they can leave, especially if they're going to be held up for a long time. And, and I say this all the time, I will literally stop talking about this when drivers stop sending me pictures of this. Cause I actually talk to real drivers, I talk to them frequently, because at the end of the day, this is like what all of this is about. And I know you guys, VHub, are dedicated to this as well, about keeping people in business and keeping people profitable and everything else. And, these are issues that our drivers are faced with that's out there, man. So we're at day 63 of that. And then we're also at the national average of fuel of $5.72 a gallon for gold. That is, I'm getting all that information from AAA. And again, you guys, just like with everything, just like with all the articles, do your own research and find it out there. That I get mine from AAA. I put all the links and everything in the show notes and stuff for you. But yeah, like I think what's crazy though, man, is like you're seeing petroleum exports go through the roof right now and everything else. But it's a wild time. It's a wild time. And I think that it's one of those situations that we need to, as a country, collectively come together. And I don't mean, like, what are you guys seeing up in Canada right now? Are your guys' gas prices through the roof?
Through the roof. When I fill up, it has doubled. My little Jeep Commander, I'm doubling in fuel. Luckily, working remotely from home, that saves, but doubled.
Yeah, dude. And that's the thing is it's like I'm seeing, it's not like doubled yet for my truck. But it's still, man, it sucks, like fortunately I'm in a position where it's like, yeah, it sucks that it's higher, but like, I don't have to make that decision of what do I do to feed my family or put gas in my vehicle, and that's what I think, like the tone deaf politicians that are out there fucking just putting out some of these ridiculous statements, you know what I mean? And I just think that there's something that we got to do that can be done to offset this and actually fix this. And that's what I want to see rolled out here in the coming months, because there's got to be some reprieve to it, because like that just fuel affects literally everything. It affects everything. Every tractor that's out there to plant fields needs fuel. Every truck that's out there to needed to transport needs fuel. So as that stuff increases, I mean, especially with the large shippers and stuff that are out there in the market, man, they pay for fuel, and their fuel costs are through the roof right now too. So like, again, that affects everything. Like somebody's paying for it, and that somebody is us, the end consumer. So yeah, man, we'll get into your favorite part here and start talking about some of these articles. But let's gotta do some shout outs here as well. Danae, good morning to you. Lauren Began, that's right. We do love the stars and stripes here over at the Freight Coach, and we are not afraid to show it and talk about how we love America here. Danae says trailers are, of course, roadworthy and in good conditions if refrigerated.
Correct. That, again, depending on the owner, but once you're on the platform, you'll see the age, you'll see photos of the unit, so you'll know exactly what you're picking up before you pick it up.
Perfect. Tracy Barrett, keep the spirit. Yeah. You know what, Tracy? You are right. Keep the spirit of the fourth going all year long. Look at that. Amen to that, Tracy. Sure is. I'm assuming he's talking about Vitaly is talking about all that fun stuff up there in Canada with all your gas prices. Jeremy Reed, good morning. He loves filling up premium. And then Cody, that's right, Cody Kohler. He's the one who Cody Kohler was my plug on the flag with a mutual friend of ours who made all of that for me and everything. But yeah, dude, let's dive into some articles. Let's have some fun and talk about the realities of the industry. And this first one comes from FreightWaves. It's transportation capacity up again in June and pricing growth slows. Growth throughout the supply chain has slowed yet again in the month of June. A monthly survey of logistics supply executives released Tuesday. The logistics managers index a reading of 65 during the month, a 2.1 percentage point decline from May, and the lowest levels recorded since June of 2020. And let's see, it was an all-time high back in March at 76.2. A reading above 50 indicates expansion, while a reading below 50 indicates contraction. A steep decline and reflective of what we've seen in the overall economy in the last 3 months, moving the record setting the expansion over the last 18 months to a greatly subdued level of growth observed out there. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like there's such a big emphasis on the last 2 years, that they think like, oh, that was like, look at all of this that happened. I think that it was a fucking global crisis and people were acting outside of the norm in their purchasing patterns and everything else, which caused spikes in it. I think that what you're seeing, though, is a level off to pre-pandemic freight levels, which is essentially a normal market at that time, And I mean, like, dude, how many times have you over the last 2 years just you're like, oh, I need to buy this, and this now because of, you're seeing a headline that says, oh, we might be out of this. So you fucking panic buy. What does that do? That trickle ups to the supply chain managers and everything else who purchase inventory. And they're like, fuck it. We're going to overbuy and protect ourselves. I think like that's what we saw. And there's a direct reflection of that, I think, in inventory levels right now is people overbought to protect their company because Adrian, and if you have a different opinion on this, I'd love to know. Have you ever seen a retailer make money with empty shelves?
No. I'm going to say something, it may be on topic, maybe something off topic. I studied economics, so there's different theories to all lead back to the same answer. I can have my theory, you have your theory, and the answer may be the same. But the general stuff of economics is a sailboat. And to steer a sailboat in the right direction, you need to do minor adjustments. I think what we've seen with the pandemic is a lot of go to the left. Now you're trying to correct it back to the right. You're missing toilet paper, so we're having a crisis with toilet paper. So now you're trying to adjust, and we're making these super big adjustments.
Nick Rumor has some if you need any. That's funny you bring up toilet paper.
Exactly. So that's an example. And how does supply chain or logistics manager adjust to that? Or the warehouse manager adjust to that? He's thinking it's going to continue longer, so he overbuys toilet paper. Then you're stuck with toilet paper. Now you're going back and forth. So it's been a rough 2 years of unknowns and really hard left and rights, which is screwing a lot of things up.
Yeah, no, man, I get it. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of right now. And Lewis, what's up, brother? Dedicated Trucking. And as always, you guys, drivers, if you're watching this live right now, whether you're on YouTube or you're on, LinkedIn or Facebook, drop your equipment type and your availability in the lanes you like to run in the comments here, you guys. And then any broker friends of mine who are watching this, if you have freight that aligns with the lanes that these individuals want to run, reach out to them. All right. This is what this network is about. This is what I mean by this is our network. Let's utilize each other here. All right. But so, yeah, man, I'm right there with you. And, and here's the thing. This is coming from somebody who understands that side of the fence a lot is, it's been very difficult to forecast anything, be it financials, inventory capacity, and everything else. And then it's also, speaking of capacity, it goes on to say in this article, a proxy for trucking capacity, the outbound tender reject index shows the number of loads being rejected by carriers. The index has fallen to just 7.4% compared to a year ago when fleets were rejecting 25% of the loads. And then the National Truckload Index, a 7-day moving average of dry van spot loads across 250 lanes, has fallen significantly. Okay, so that means very simply that the contracted rates are extremely higher this year. Why would you reject a load? You would not reject a contracted load, have it go to the spot market to take it for a lesser rate. And that's what you saw last year. It was 25% were being rejected because the spot market was significantly higher. That's a free market. That's the market acting in the same capacity as it always does. Wherever providers are going to make the most money is where they're going to naturally gravitate towards. And, there's obviously an emphasis on that's going on. We're seeing, and then, hold on. Sorry, I got to get ahead here. We are also listening a long way from the 2019 type readings in transportation prices. While this is the lowest this metric has been in 2 years, it's nowhere close to the streak of consecutive months we observed in May to 2019. Let me see here. 5% transportation prices have always been okay. I just think that, again, there's such an emphasis on the tender rejection report. And why would you reject a tender right now if you're going to make more money on your contracted load? You're not going to do that.
I'm going to, again, off topic. I can't answer that question. I'm going to ask you a question here. In Canada, our unemployment is stable and looking good. At the same time, I leave my house, I could travel 10 miles and every single business is hiring. What are we missing?
Yeah. Dude, I don't know, man. I think that, again, it wasn't, it's, the article is good. I'm not sitting here shredding the article, but it's the emphasis on, like the tender rejections being what it is it's like contracted loads amount to over 80% of the freight moved on the market. And when they're not rejecting loads, it's because they're honoring their contract because their contract pays them more. That's literally all that this boils down to. We don't need to overcomplicate any of that any more than it already is. And that's the thing is it's like, it's easy to sit out here and put a certain saying out there to paint a picture. And again, I'm not saying that there's not real fucking issues out here. And the beauty of me editing all my own content is I have all the original copies of everything I've ever said. So we can't go out here and say that I said one thing. But, I'm not saying that there aren't real issues that go along out here, but I think that there's such an emphasis on a certain sector, whether it's the spot market or not. And it's like, I know what freight's moving for out there. I'm not going to sit there and talk specifics, about my interactions with my clients or anything like that. There's a lot of fucking freight moving still, and it's well above all of these national prices that they're trying to throw out there. Well above. So again, I'm not saying that there's not issues, but at the same time, there's fucking freight moving. And that's the big thing. Again, that was from Freight Waves, transportation capacity up again in June, pricing growth slows. Now, onto a very serious article, because we all know that sleep is imperative to your recovery, rest. When you have a good night's sleep, you feel more alert in the morning. You're more aware of your surroundings. This article was from fleetowner.com, and it was sleep disorders continue to plague professional drivers. An estimated 70 million Americans have sleeping disorders. While roughly 80 sleep disorders have been identified, 80 different, Jesus. I'm sorry. I thought that there was one. Either you can sleep or you can't. But again,
I fall asleep right away.
That's just my simple Wisconsin brain there. Bob Stanton, a former over-the-road trucker of 20 years, knows the effects of the OSA. The OSA is obstructive sleep apnea. Let me see. He honestly thought that the only way to drive the night shift was to drive a half hour, take a power nap, drive a half hour, take a power nap. He said during a CVSA and North American Fatigue Management Program webinar. Luckily, he got tested and treated before carrier-based programs were the norm. A lot of the problems I encountered early in my sleep apnea journey have been solved with technology and carrier-based programs. Helping drivers treat their sleep apnea will improve their quality of life, decrease their accident rates, and you're probably going to retain them longer, and you'll reduce their healthcare costs overall. For professional truck drivers, it goes on to say these health and safety implications can be severe. It's that the drivers can cause fall asleep behind the wheel, increase their increase the decline in their cognitive functionality, impair driving performance, decrease their reaction time, and possibly, yeah. I mean, because that's the thing is, it's like, dude, I remember riding along with my old man as a kid, and those truck stops are loud as fuck. All right, dudes are idling, drivers are idling their trucks all night long because they don't have an AP. This was before APUs were really a thing back in the 90s when I was riding with my dad. But that's the thing is, it's like if you're not getting adequate rest, you're not thinking clearly the next day, and then you're out there, your reaction times are less, and then that's going to I think inevitably increase your probability of losing, having a fatal reaction behind the wheel if you're tired and you're driving.
And I was looking at this article and I looked at it in a different way. My favorite show on Netflix is Formula One Drive to Survive.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
And one of the drivers said, I go to my psychologist the same way I go to the gym. I make sure I am physically healthy as much as I am mentally healthy because I need to be focused. I need to have my A game. Mm-hmm. And I think looking at the drivers of trucks, we don't look at them at the same way. We think of them as just regular Joes moving our freight. But the same thing, NASCAR drivers, they are athletes. Some may say not because they're sitting in a car going left all the time, but they are athletes. They need to focus. They need to train their minds. They need to train their bodies. And I think what we don't have with truck drivers is that added health care that they should have. They should be physically maybe more active, again, keeping their mind focused. And that perhaps could help with these sleep disorders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you, man. And it's like there is such a direct correlation between adequate rest and performance in everything, and I just think that it's often overlooked out there, and like, dude, I mean, because some of my family members have sleep apnea and everything else. And, it's a real thing. It's like, if you're not getting adequate rest at night, like that's a massive problem. And hold on, let me see here. And because here's another thing. Carriers were more likely to be found negligent if they did not monitor and follow up with the driver, or their internal or their fatigue management programs were inappropriate, incomplete, or not implemented. That, and then it goes on to say that I've been a expert witness in some of these nuclear verdicts and some not, said Adriana Knight, president and CEO of Sleep Safe Drivers. The carriers can do several things. One is to not do anything, and that's what we mostly see in some of these. The carrier has not done anything, or that the driver has falsified information, has not worn the CPAP device, or told the medical examiner that he or she has been diagnosed with sleep apnea, and this is all discoverable. Once upon a time, we could claim ignorance is bliss, and that's just not the case anymore. With modern technology, we can monitor wireless compliance. We can't walk into a courtroom anymore and say, I didn't know. And if you don't know, it's because you chose not to know. And yeah, dude, that's the thing, is there's so much that goes into all of this. There's so much that people can do. And it's true, man. Like, and I say this all the time, lawyers don't give a fuck that you had a bad day. You know what I mean? Like, it's not their job. They're not your friend.
Yeah, but a carrier should treat their truckers as them being a coach to an athlete.
Yeah.
A football player, you don't want your athlete to have a knee injury the same way you don't want your driver to have a sleeping disorder where they're not focused, they're not getting the product to where it's supposed to be. So you need to maybe rethink that and say, hey, I'm your boss, I'm the coach, you're my athlete. I need to make sure you're healthy at all levels to get my product across.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And again, that article was from fleetowner.com. Sleep disorders continue to plague professional drivers. Check it out. And then we've got some comments to get back up into here. Josh Krause, the other piece is timing. If you need to move freight fast, you also want to use the spot market. When the supply chain is backed up, timing becomes less important. That's very true. Steve Mason, yeah, you guys, he's got a 40-foot hot shot with mega ramps in Florida. He's been cold calling an email for almost a month, seeking dedicated freight. Who out there has some hot shot freight for Steve in Florida? That's what we need. If you got hot shot freight in Florida for a 40-foot hot shot, reach out to Steve Mason. Stephen A. Mason is his handle on LinkedIn. Reach out to him if you have any freight for him, you guys. Yes, Kyle Provost, you are correct. Have plenty of applicants when more crypto exchanges go under. Vitaly Becker, the conversation available jobs versus available talent is also complex. A business might be hiring, but if they aren't willing to pay It's needed for a person to live in that geographical location. Yeah, very true, man. I agree with you. Nick Rumor says, and you can't play without physical or mental health in order. Amen to that. And some of us are your friends. Not all lawyers are. Sorry, Lauren. Sorry. I try not to use general statements. All right. My bad. Lauren, you are not a bad. She's a good one. I will say this. Matt Fink, what's up, brother? Outstanding thought line from Adrian. Treating drivers like high performance athletes. Yeah, man. I get it. It's all about flipping this perspective, you guys, because again, I think everybody focuses on how things have always been. And that's like, if you're focused on the past, you're fucking dying. All right. It's that simple. Let me see here. Danae, the driver has to make conscious decisions to eat relatively light and healthy to drive. Some of my folks that actually have bikes on their trucks, seriously walking and running around there. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, taking it upon yourself, but I also feel like encouraging those healthy behaviors is definitely what's needed as well. The last article we're going to touch on today, you guys, ttnews.com, winning arguments to attract new drivers. As the American workforce continues to experience major shift and fluxes, there's an opportunity for those of us in trucking and logistics industries to attract new drivers and workers looking for a post/pandemic change. With a few real-world examples and proof points, we can help reap the benefits. Great pay now, it says. One of the main arguments why trucking could be perfect out there is that many companies are raising their wages for their drivers. I don't know if that's entirely true. I think that if you own your own trucking company, you can make some decent money. That's out there. I think the days of we pay you 60 cents a mile, we got to fucking up that. I think that, pay is definitely something that you can make a lot of money in this industry. I think you can make a ton of money in this industry. That the low cost of entry to become a driver, all you need is a CDL and a background check. I'm going to not go down the rabbit hole on that one. Trucking companies can reach out to new schools and organizations. But yeah, again, you just go through some CDL training and you can get behind the wheel and start making some money in like 8 weeks is what it is. Flexibility. And for current drivers, we can offer the opportunity to sponsor their spouse to get their own CDL and then drive as a pair. That's got to take a strong fucking marriage. I love my wife, but I don't know if we would want to spend 100 hours a week in the same cab of the truck. And then, but there are some very real benefits of driving trucks. You talk to a lot of the drivers that are out there. They're that nomad. They love the open road. They love being out there and just exploring the country, exploring the North America as a whole. And it is. I mean, I think that what we didn't touch on in this article is attracting the younger driver. The ones who are 21 to 25 are going to care significantly differently about what technologies are inside of the truck than somebody who's my age. Hell, even my age, I want to know what's out there. But somebody who's in their mid to late 40s or early 50s, I don't think they're going to be asking about USBs and fucking Xboxes and everything else. But I think like trucks have those capabilities now. Like that's what it is. We have a marketing problem. I think that's what we need to do is we need to break these old school marketing techniques that have been out there and actually tell a fucking story that appeals to a 21 to a 28-year-old and not the other way around. Like we got to track the next generation of drivers. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, man? Like if Adrian wanted to become a truck driver, what would you look for?
I think you hit a pretty good point is marketing. Most people see truckers and trucking as that annoying big piece of equipment that's in your way on the highway while you're trying to cruise faster. It's in your way. And I think marketing plays a big effect. But at the same time, we're looking at lifestyle. It's all about lifestyle. The trucking is a different lifestyle, open road, flexible hours. You have the potential to gain as much as you're willing to work. The more you're willing to work, the more you can gain. If you're not willing to work much, well, you won't gain as much. But it's a bit of a two-way street where there's truckers in the industry that may be tired, have been doing this for a long time. This whole pandemic, the restrictions, the mandates, the fuel costs now maybe want out. So they're looking out of the industry while some new youngsters are looking, hey, I like the lifestyle, flexibility, want in. So I think it's a time for the trucking industry to do some marketing on that, attract the new youngsters to replace those that are kind of falling and want out of the industry.
Very well said, man. Very well said. Tracy Barrett has a good one. We got to keep our truck and body running well. Both need deliberate attention and care. Yeah, no, it's well said. Well said, Tracy. Yeah, Nick, I did see that, man. Yeah, we guys use marketing to attract new talent. That article, you guys, was ttnews.com, winning arguments to attract new drivers. Again, I think that we got to definitely up our game when it comes into our marketing and everything else that comes into that to attract the next generation of drivers. But that's it for today, you guys. As always, the links for all of these articles and all this information are in the show notes on my YouTube channel, The Freight Coach, as well as the audio-only replay, which will be available on the Coffee with the Freight Coach platform. Again, we're live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. Adrian, how does anybody find out, or how does anybody reach out to you or find out more about VHub?
Simply go on wehabapp.com. There's a chat button. You click on the chat button. Myself or my colleague will respond. There's a 1-866 number. You can call us and we'll answer. So we are available. There's a hello@wehabapp.com if you want to send us an email. We're reachable on all levels.
Perfect. I love it. Well, hey, that's it for today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. We don't take plays off out here. That's it. And then as always, you guys, I appreciate you. If you guys could do me a solid, share the show. That would be phenomenal. I would appreciate that so much. That's how all of this is going to grow and continue to grow, is by sharing the show. I appreciate you guys all so much, and we'll be talking to you soon.